So I know that we are in the middle of our 14th Amendment lessons, okay? But as I was reading up on them, I was finding so many things that I forgot that I was taught in school, okay? So today, I think we're going to take a minute and discuss the Supreme Court decision that says that Black people were not citizens. Yeah. An army surgeon by the name of Dr. John Emerson purchased Dred Scott and took him to Illinois. Okay. Then they went to Fort Snelling in Wisconsin Territory. Okay. Now, Illinois and Fort Snelling were free states. Okay. Dr. Emerson moves back to Louisiana. After some time, Dred Scott and Harriet also goes to Louisiana. Okay. Dr. Emerson has fallen in love with and marries a heifer by the name of Eliza. I call her a heifer for a reason. Yes. Now, the marriage is important because when Dr. Emerson passes away, the people he has enslaved, they now belong to his widow. Okay. Now, she hires Dred Scott and his wife and his children out. Okay. Now we're going to have a conversation about the book They Were Her Property and how white women were active participants in the slave trade. Okay. Because they knew their independence, their level of equality, their wealth came from the selling of Black bodies. And Eliza Emerson was no different. Okay, so when Dred Scott and his wife tried to purchase their freedom repeatedly, she repeatedly tells them no. So Dred Scott and his wife sue for their freedom. Okay, and their main argument is that any person taken to a free territory automatically becomes free and cannot be re-enslaved upon returning to a slave state. Okay? Now remember, Dr. Emerson had taken them, especially I believe it was Dred Scott, had taken him to Illinois and Wisconsin Territory before going back to Louisiana. So by that statute alone, Dred Scott was free. Okay? So it was Chief Justice Roger Taney, and he was one of those people who, when you looked at him or when you spoke to him, you'd wonder, who did you know to get this job? Because I don't think you're that bright. That's what I gathered from reading in between the lines. Yeah, he was one of those. But he said that all people of African descent, free or enslaved, were not United States citizens and therefore had no right to sue in federal court. Okay? In addition, he wrote that the Fifth Amendment protected slave owner rights because enslaved workers were their legal property. Essentially, you could not take a slave from a slave owner without due process. In one decision, he said that Black people brought here against their will were not citizens of a nation that they built. Going back to Dred Scott, he eventually got his freedom, and it was not from a Supreme Court decision. It was because Eliza Emerson remarried. You remember Eliza, the heifer that Dr. Emerson married? Yeah. Eliza remarried a New York politician who was also an abolitionist. Okay? And this new husband was appalled that he married a woman who had been enslaving the infamous Dred Scott. Okay? Now, he himself could not bring himself to emancipate Dred Scott, but he's an abolitionist, right? So he sold Dred Scott to his previous enslaver, the Blow family, and it was the Blows who emancipated Dred Scott, Dred Scott's wife, Harriet, and their daughters.